Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. So earlier this week, I did a live canned wine tasting on Twitter. That was extraordinarily nerve-wracking. So it really was. So I'm going to just jump right into charts this week, and that's it. Okay, so here we go. All right. Okay, so first of all, let's start off by looking at SPX or ES Futures weekly. So last week I talked about a fractally thing that was happening with these three candles, and what do you know, guys, I figured out I could draw on the chart live. So anyway, so look at this. Oops. Kind of a hammery thing after that. Kind of a hammery thing after that. This drawing on the chart's not going well. All right, just look at it. Red, red, green upside down hammer, red hammer. What? I'll make it bigger. Red hammer. Red, red, green upside down, hammer it. I mean, you know, thingy. That's kind of spectacular, not gonna lie. Kind of spectacular. I didn't expect a hammery thing, but I guess I did, if I really did. So that's weird. And if it continues, we should see something that looks like another hammery thing, but lower down. Is that even a thing? I mean, it hasn't gotten to the ambulance line yet. I mean, it certainly looks like it's going to reverse, but this also looked like it was going to reverse, right? Right? Right. I think so. So right now we're sitting just above RSI support, but you know, these pivots are kind of far away from the weekly, so I can't really give any more insight than that, but isn't that freaky? Like, I don't know. All right, anyway, next one. Let's look at ES Daily. So we're still sitting right underneath Eric's roaring back to life tweet line, so which is about 3,300 or so. So as long as we do not close above that, I think it's still okay to not know which way it's going. Now, if I squint and kind of turn my head to the side, this doesn't not look flaggy. Is that a thing? I mean, I mean, So, but you know what? A close outside of this line would again probably confirm that it could potentially be a flaggy thing. The only thing is it's kind of steep. It's kind of steep, but that doesn't mean it's not a thing. So we'll watch it. We'll see what happens. But, you know, I'll be more worried about changing my short-term bias if it were to close above 3,300 or so. And it's close right now. So this week should be important. Now, what do you know? We also are right at RSI resistance on the daily. So hopefully it will close lower on Monday. But we shall see. These are the pivots I'm watching. So the finish line, I think, is the most important of these, although this cobalt blue line, I gotta redraw this pink, and I promise if it looks like it's going to get below this blue line, which is also the MA here, I don't know which one. Oh, it was that one. It was the 100 MA on the daily. It's pretty much my cobalt blue line as well. So if it closes below that, or even looks like it's going to get below that, in a hurry, I will redraw this fat lady line and then let you know what that is, because that's an important line. It's just not represented on my chart. That's weird. Okay, let's look at Nasdaq. So I've drawn in sort of a potential bear flaggy structure here, and this channel line is really important. We closed just below it on Friday. It would have freaked me out, not gonna lie, if it had closed above it. It doesn't mean you can't go above it, can't retest 1120 before going back down. But if it does close above this, what is tomorrow or Sunday night or Monday, if it closes above, 11,156.59, then I'm going to be a little bit like, ruh-roh, ruh-roh. But as of Friday, I kept my shorts on over the weekend. I know sometimes you should know that I hedge during the day. I can do that pretty easily with futures, but because for every 10 micro futures that you're short, you can go long one big future, and that sort of puts you evenish, and you're just paying for the commission at that point of the big contract, big contracts, and it's not a big deal. So anyway, yeah. So we'll have to see what happens. If it closes back above this, I might change my tune, but for now, it still looks technically shortable. Yeah. And I will keep updating these pivots as well on Twitter. So now let's look at something a little bit more interesting. Let's look at Dixie. So I tweeted back here sometime that I was expecting a bounce, and then it bounced, and then we got a bull flag that I think I pointed out in the last video, and then all week long, nothing but net, guys, nothing but net. So here's where we are. We're at the martini glass. How did I draw this line? How did I know? What? Let me go back here. So I chart channels. There's a lot of different ways to chart things. People do all sorts of weird things, but I like, when I find a slope that works for me, I just move it around. And I moved it here, and initially I looked like a giant jerk for moving it there because it cut through my line like butter, But generally speaking, and this is just a me thing, for whatever slopes that I like, that I've identified for whatever magical reason, if it cuts through something so quickly, as soon as I think it's going to bounce, I can almost, I don't want to say be guaranteed, but I'll put a lot of money on it going back to test where it cut through, because I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. I'm pretty bad, but I'm not that bad. So I knew it would come back. I knew. I had a strong suspicion that it would come back and test this pink line. Now, additionally, when something cuts through one of my lines and it comes back and tests something, it not only tests it, it makes me look like a genius after the fact, because it'll snog the F out of it. What does snog mean? It's kissing, but in British language. So not passionate kissing. Oh my God, I'm funny. Okay, but anyway, I expect some consolidation here, and I expect it to snog around this this martini line just a little bit more. Now, if it doesn't, if it flies up, it'll come back and retest it before it'll figure out what else to do. We could look at smaller time frames to figure that out, but I expect some snoggerific action right around this line before what's going to happen. Well, I think that if it does snog here, and if it snogs here and gives us any clues in RSI, any kind of divergence, any kind of clues, any support line, whatever it does, I think it may go a little bit higher before going back lower. Now, if it does come back lower, what I did here is I added a line. I know. And so I went back and I looked at another slope that I like, which was this one, which is the bottom of this previous wedgie type thing. By the way, wedges never freaking play out the way that you think they're going to play out when you draw them. And this was in my technical analysis toolbook. They never do. And I was looking here for clues because I thought, you know, what if, speaking of fractals, what if this is a bigger version of this? What if it snogs, goes back down to test this line, and then comes back up again? I kind of like that idea, but I want it to snog a little bit before we decide whether or not it's going to go up or down. I do. I want it to snog. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking for this week, some consolidation action. I could absolutely be wrong. It could, but I think if it starts to go back down really quickly, I just feel like it's going to come back. And if it starts to go up, I think it's going to come back. So it either sits on this line all week and snog, or I'm going to have some pretty good scalp action on it. And So let's look at gold. Well, you know, yeah. This is actually kind of beautiful interaction off of the, is it the 20? Just to check, it looks like the 20. Yeah, beautiful interaction off of the weekly 20. It's almost too beautiful. It's almost super perfect beautiful. And I don't like super perfect beautiful in trading. It works generally, but I kind of like some yucky action if I'm gonna play the MAs. But the smart thing to do, I didn't do it, but the smart thing to do would have been to put in a buy at the 20 MA here, and then at least have a nice scalp, take some profits, set a break-even stop, and voila. I did not do that, however, but that would have been the smart thing to do. What I would like to see happen, let me move this over a little bit. What I would like to see happen, and I'm kind of a sicko, but I would like, because I still think this looks, if you squint and move your head to the side, this still looks flaggy-ish to me. It doesn't look scary at all. I mean, I think it felt scary for people. I'm not too much in precious metals right now, but I think it felt scary. I could feel it feeling scary. But still, I didn't have a ton of people asking me. I only had a couple of people saying, Cordova, help me. What's going to happen? I didn't have that. So if this was a false breakout above this purpley line, then I would expect it to at least retest the purpley line down here and get to maybe this previous high and kind of back test that before we decide whether or not it's going lower. And I hate to say that because I don't want the ire of gold bulls after me, but this is a good thing actually. This is a flush of the people of the weak-handed, and I am all about that. So this isn't a convincing bounce, if I'm being direct with you. It bounced, but it didn't bounce convincingly. So ultimately, the best thing I could want to see this week if I were super bullish gold would be a drop and then a flashback in a hammer way. That would be a delightful thing to see if I'm looking for a buy here. And I think, let's look at RSI support here. I mean, it can definitely go a little bit lower, do a hammer, and then end on a support, and that would make me really like the next week a lot. So we'll have to see. I mean, not a ton of volume for this candle, so maybe it did just flush out the weak hands, the weak traders. I don't know. Let's look at silver. I mean, I do have to give myself a little bit of props for this pink line, just a titch of props. And same thing, you know, scalp-wise, having bought there, or what was also the MA, really. I mean, I'd like to take credit for it, and I do get credit for it, but, I mean, that was an easy scalp. I mean, because you buy it, and then you set a stop for whatever much below, and it didn't really go that much below, so. And that line, this MA, this 20 MA, is lined up exactly with my pink line at this point. We'll have to see what happens next week. But these are the pivots that I'm watching. So let me move this one over. And this is a new line. I'll explain it in just a second. But anything above 22.33 or so is still very good. Not a hugely convincing bounce, but that's okay, right? This one wasn't hugely convincing, and this happened. So we'll see. We'll see. But coming out of this consolidation, we're hoping, silver bulls are hoping, that this is a false breakdown. So for it to not be a real breakdown, it has to scurry back above 25.42 really freaking fast. If it doesn't, then somebody smart on Twitter suggested that I had a line here and a line here that I was just marked off some divergence with back in the day so I could, you know, see it. And I went ahead and extended that line, and it looks like it's actually a pretty good line. I know, right? Huh. Anyway, I marked it off because I do think that would absolutely be fabulous if it took another drop and then right above the 50, not touching the 50, because I don't want that. Don't ask why. I just don't want it. Don't want it. Don't want anything to do with it. But if it acted like it was going to touch a 50, and a lot of people put in buy orders on this 50, and I was like, nope, gonna try to catch it before then, I'm gonna buy the F out of it, actually, if it gets there. I am. I could be wrong, and then I'd set the stop below the 50, but, or I'd scale in, depending on how fast it goes there, and depending on lower price time frames. But, yeah, I like this a lot because, same thing here. See how this 100 MA, this pink line is right above this 100 MA? That would, I mean, not 100, sorry, 50. So that would almost, but not quite get the 50. Buy. And then, if it gets above the, back above the 20, like we bottom catched, y'all. Okay, so back to silver. Very similar here, right above the 50. So these are the pivots I'm watching. 19.475 on the lower end, 22.325 to maintain bullish channel-ish, and 25.42 to say, hey, that was a fake breakdown, and potentially another chance to buy it here. I still did not buy it, y'all. Not in my swing account anyway. I was scalping a little bit, a little something, but I didn't want to say I bought it because I didn't know the time frames people look at. But I mean, you knew from my chart from last week. That's what I was looking at. So, anywho, and I did also extend this divergence line, and it did get below it. So again, if it can get back above, or maybe some consolidation there, we'll know. We'll know more then. Okay, let's talk about Natty. Oh, I was holding in the red for a while. Then I guess I got lucky. I caught a huge bounce here. I did take profit here already. I am not in Natty right now. So contract rollover is happening, and it's gonna bleep up. Now, if it bleeps up and then goes up, I might short it. Just because it doesn't usually like to keep, it may not do an entire gap fill, but it doesn't usually like to keep a huge gap there and just go up with no candle tail. So I'll have to think about it. I did see a lizard inside my house today, but it wasn't Nathan. I don't know. So I don't know about that. I don't know what it means. I have not seen Nathan or any of Nathan's babies since last week. And then today I saw the other lizard. But it was a tiny lizard, and it wasn't the same kind of lizard as Nathan. And so I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I think that means I actually have to watch the chart. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. So the gap up here from the contract roll when it happens on Sunday night, not sure what's going to happen, but I will update you on Twitter because I just don't know. It's above the key here, but it's below this pink key. And then when it gets, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on the contract roll. That's it. All right, let's look at coffee. I think last week I said the most bullish action here could be a hammer candle, and voila. I did not buy it back, however, because I was busy doing other stuff. So what I might do, what I hope for is, because this is still looking pretty bullish to me. Yep. So what I'm hoping for is we get a little dippy action on Monday, Tuesday, and I buy it, and then I can set a stop pretty much right below the low from last week, and then I'll be very happy because I think my risk reward will be pretty good there, and I'll be looking for it to get back inside the redemption channel, which is 36.32, and then back inside this red channel again. But you know what? This is a very bearish candle, and look, it closed actually above the close from the week before. It's pretty good. Like, it held the trash can line. or the trash can area. It held. So as long as it stays above the trash can area, bullish, and I'm very bullish coffee. And it was still bullish. I gotta move this. It was still bullish despite the dollar doing weird things. I gotta really move it. Guys, I've been lazy week to week. Why didn't somebody call me on it? Because it could go here. I want it to go here. That'd be nice. But anyway, like I said, I'm gonna look to buy a dip if we get one. If not, I'll probably just, we'll get some dip, right? But if it gaps up here and then comes down, I might just bite the bullet and buy it. And maybe scale in for more scales. Yep, because I like it. Okay, well that's it. Make myself big now. Oops. Never mind, I just hit the wrong button. Okay, I'll make myself big. Thank you so much again for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the interwebs. Okay, bye.